Hi, and welcome to Old School Blues Guitar. It is time for my classic licks lesson for October through December 2017. And this time we're going to look at some of the guitar heard on the recordings made by the great Lazy Leicester, harmonica player, vocalist, recorded on Excello Records back in the 1950s and 60s, and I think he's still going. I think he's still around. And when you listen to this stuff, Lazy Leicester, it's great guitar for playing behind harmonica. I have to confess that I've played it wrong all these years. And I've heard a lot of other people do Lazy Leicester songs, and I didn't listen very carefully to the original recordings. And I've gone back and listened to them quite a bit, and I figured out some things, and I'm going to share those with you. Starting out, the basic rhythm you hear on Lazy Leicester tunes is the shuffle. I call it a Lazy Leicester shuffle. Now I'm going to start with an example from a tune called Tell Me, Pretty Baby, and I used to play it like this. I think I heard Anson Funderburgh and the Rockets play it, or maybe the Fabulous Thunderbirds. Anson Funderburgh, fantastic guitar player, one of my heroes from Texas, and Jimmy Vaughn playing with the Fabulous Thunderbirds. They played a lot of shuffles, and they play it like this. With the just straight down picks, getting both the sixth string and the fifth string. This is an E shuffle. But listening to Lazy Leicester quite a bit, I hear the guitar doing more of this. And what you've got is kind of a mix of this what I call the Honky Tonk rhythm. And that's when you're playing the same, the left hand is doing exactly the same thing, but your right hand is doing something different. You're picking the sixth string, downstroke, and then coming back up on the fifth string. And what I hear in the Lazy Leicester recordings, and this Tell Me Pretty Baby is the first example, I hear the downstroke getting both the sixth and the fifth strings. It's a pretty aggressive downstroke. And even when he picks back up, he's getting both strings. Compare that to this. That. And that's a Lazy Leicester shuffle. He does it on tunes like I Hear You Knockin'. There's a lot of variations here. He does a lot of different things. Let me just go through the whole pattern, a whole 12-bar thing playing over the 1, the 4, and the 5. And you hear something like this. This is from Tell Me Pretty Baby, but I'm not going to play the little lick. We'll work on that here in a minute. So he does something like this. Mistake is when he gets to the 5, what I hear him doing a lot is playing just with the first finger going, doing the same thing. I was just did a Jimmy Reed lesson where you hear this, so my fingers kind of automatically went to that, but let's go through that. So over the 1, what I'm doing is playing, first finger is going back and forth, or is anchored rather on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and then my ring finger is just going down, coming off the 4th fret of the 5th string. Now in Tell Me, he throws that, and the timing on that is like this. So I hear it when he gets the open E, he's going to that. Right back into the shuffle. What I'm doing is just hammering on, pulling off real fast the 1st fret of the 3rd string. So like an E, that note, just move the first finger over to the 4th string. Now you're playing the open 5th, the open A, and the 3rd string, or 4th string. Whoops. And then for the 5, still the open A. This is something that Jimmy Reed did, or whoever played that part on Jimmy Reed's recordings. And my first finger is on the 4th fret of the 4th string. And my ring finger is going to the 6th fret of the 4th string. Now on some Lazy Leicester tunes there's a turnaround, and I'm going to show you 3 or 4 examples of turnarounds here before we quit. So that is a basic Lazy Leicester shuffle, and you hear this on a couple of his tunes. The one I came to mind for this first example was Tell Me Pretty Baby. Now if you listen to his other tunes, there's some variations. And one variation that I hear, I can't remember the names of the songs for some of these, I'm just going to do them. He does something like this with that same rhythm. So what I'm doing here is the same rhythm. And then when I get the open 6th string or the downstroke, so when I'm playing over the 1, I'm going from the 4th fret of the 5th string, and this finger is already anchored there. So I'm just picking this up and then picking to the 4th fret of the 6th string. Like that. And then I just move everything over. So now I'm going on the 4th string, 4th fret, 2nd fret, to the 4th fret of the 5th string. And the 5, just doing the same idea. So that's a variation on the basic Lazy Leicester shuffle. Another one that's real similar, that again I can't remember the name of the song. He's got so many different tunes and I'm not that familiar with this music yet. On the tab, I'll try to write these down when I do the tab. He does something similar but different, like this. Didn't take the verse all the way home, but you got the idea. So now I'm doing that same picking pattern, and then instead of doing this, I'm starting from the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and then going 4th fret, 2nd fret on the 5th string. So like this. I'm getting the open 6th, and then very quickly, and then right back into it. Up on the 6th string. So it's 2nd fret of the 4th string, 4, 2 on the 5th string. Then when you move it to the A, it's just the exact same pattern. This time going from the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, 4, 2 on the 4th string. And over the B, same pattern, just played at the 4th fret, 3rd string, 6th fret, 4th string, 4th fret. Back to the A. So there's a couple more variations on the Lazy Leicester Shuffle. And there's some tunes, like I Hear You Knockin', which is my personal favorite Lazy Leicester song. I think he starts out the song playing this. But by the end of the song, he's doing this. I'll have to go back and listen to that. He might do that all the way through on that song. But if you're playing this rhythm behind a harmonica player or a singer or however you're doing it, you can vary those little riffs in there along with that basic Lazy Leicester Shuffle. So we've got this basic style of shuffle which is really open, not much muting with the right hand palm. Some guys, you play the shuffle, you can really mute the strings with your right hand palm. But Lazy Leicester shuffles, I call, they're wide open, throttle open. The guitar really rings out, and I think that's what gives his songs that great guitar sound. All right, let's keep moving. Let's look at Sugar Coated Love. This is one of his, maybe his most famous song. And in this, there's another example of the shuffle. And this one took me a little bit to figure out. I'm not positive if I've got it. I think I do. And he plays something like this at the beginning. It's an E, and you hear this. Something like that, where he's throwing that chord in. It's really kind of neat. I hear it on the recording, and I tried different ways of doing it, and this is the way that works. Now, at the very beginning of the song, I think he's just playing this E with the first finger would be, you could play it in an E shape, or you could just have one finger on the second fret of the fifth string. And then what I'm hearing is he's kind of putting down an E chord, and I'm using just the two fingers. My first finger is going to end up on the first fret of the third string, and my second finger is going to get both the fifth and fourth strings at the second fret. But what I really hear is the treble strings, and I'm not sure exactly what picking pattern he's using. I've tabbed out what I think it could be. What I suggest you do is listen to the original, watch this lesson, and see if you can get it yourself. And what I think is going on is he's picking open and then putting the chord down and then doing a downstroke, upstroke. And then when he gets into the song, I hear this. I hear a slight bend on the third fret of the sixth string. Again, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm hearing this. And then when he gets to the stop, so this is the same kind of quick chord pattern and right back into it. Goes to a stop time, and then when he plays over the four, it's just all the way through. So for the four, I'm just playing that over the B. First finger on the fourth fret of the fourth string, open fifth string. And my ring finger going to the sixth fret over the B. So playing that little chord there, that's another little variation on the basic Lazy Leicester shuffle idea. This tune, I don't hear the so much, although we might be doing it. I hear more of this. Just a downstroke type thing. You listen to it yourself. Again, he's doing something very close to that. Now, before we leave the Lazy Leicester style, these are just things that I've picked up from listening. Some of the guitar plays some lead lines, and there are a couple songs where there's solos, but it's nothing, outside the first position blues box or anything peculiar. There's a couple songs with neat guitar openings, intros, and I'm going to save those later for one of my intro lessons. But turnarounds when you're playing the shuffle and you get to the end of the turnaround. I'm just going to show you 3 examples, I think, of lazy Leicester shuffles. One is a simple one, a single string run. It goes like this, which you could use to kick off a song. So we're at E, and let's do the shuffle. And then back into it. And I'm just following the first position E chord. So it's 3-2 open, same thing on the second string, third string, and then winding up on the second fret of the fourth string. And then the end here, this end chord is really neat. Goes from makes a B 7th shape, but then he drops it here. What would this be? If that's a B, C, I have no idea. Just take the B 7th, move most of your fingers to the 3rd fret. I should know this. C, yeah, C, B. So it's C 7th to a B 7th. So let's do that whole turnaround. That's one turnaround. Another one is a typical E, but he does something like this. And what I'm doing is starting with my first finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, second finger on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, and then I'm sliding and picking the 3rd string, sliding it to the 4th fret, and then picking with the upstroke the 2nd string, and then just taking it down. And then usually ends it with a little trill. And then if there's a turnaround, something like that, or if there's no turnaround, just this. Back into the one and the song. Another one that I've heard is a typical country blues, lightning slim type turnaround. And this one, doing that same motion, same position we did on the last one, but this time I'm getting the open first string. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Without the slide, so I'm not doing this. There's one lazy Leicester tune where he just stays here. Or you could use that other, the C to B thing. Lots of variety. You can take all these ideas and intermix them and mish them together and come up with some really neat stuff. So there are some lazy Leicester turnarounds that you can use with the shuffles. Now, before we go, I want to show you a couple single string rhythms. The first one is from a tune, it's called I'm a Lover, Not a Fighter. It's one of my favorites, and there's 2 variations. I've heard 2 different versions of this song. And one of them has a really cool guitar intro. Is it that one? No, I'm thinking of a different song. But anyway, it gets into it, and it's really fast. And it's an E, and it goes like this. And he does a stop. And he plays something like that. I'm not great at playing this, but let me just show you what's going on. I hear an open, this is an E, we're doing that first position, just like we do with the shuffle, but it's picking the open 6th string and then getting it again right away. And when you pick at the 2nd string time, you're going to take your 2nd and 3rd fingers and get the 3rd and 4th fret. And then to the 2nd fret, you just keep that first finger there, and then 4, 2 on the 5th string. So it's like this. He does the stop, and then when he walks into the A, picking an open 6th string, 2, 4 on the 6th string, and then the open 5th string. Like that. I'm thinking too much. You got to really move your wrist and use upstrokes and downstrokes to get that. Then over the 5, he does something like this. And there's a stop time. That's kind of hard to play, but that's what he's doing on that one. There's another instrumental tune with a very similar single string round. He does something like, he starts it out, you can't see this on the tape, but just to get in the right rhythm. It's a Harmonica Instrumental. I have a CD where I have these songs and I don't know the name of it. The introduction is the one I want to show you later. So let's just start, and it's that same position. And we're just playing single string runs. So it's twice on the open 6th string, and then 3, 4 on the 6th string, twice on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, 4th fret of the 5th string, back. Then when he goes to the 4, just move the 1st finger open, pick the open 5th. Then the 4, the 5, with the B, the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and then 5, 6 on the 5th string, 4th fret of the 4th string, 6, 4, so 5 or the 4. And then for the turnaround, he goes to the E, which is the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and then to the B. I don't hear a chord on this. Just playing the bass strings. You could throw in the B 7th chord. So you could play something like this. Before going into the next verse, or just play the bass strings on that. There's some other cool Lazy Leicester ideas that you hear on his guitar players. There's these little 6-chord slide that you hear, and there's also some double stop rhythm. But those are all real basic electric blues things. Those chord slides, maybe I'll do that again with a different lesson because I don't have the upper part of the neck visible right now. And we'll come back to that. So that's my classic licks lesson, and for October through December, and tried to go through a lot of variations of the Lazy Leicester shuffle sound, which is really fun to play. And he does so many, whoever's playing guitar on that, does so many little variations that are fun to mess around with and figure out. So I hope you got something from this. If you have any questions, comments, corrections, let me know. And if you know any of the secrets of any of the stuff that I'm teaching you, let me know. I'm just listening to it and doing the best I can to figure it out. You can help me out too. I'll see you again soon with another classic licks lesson.